Okay. Are we going now? Yes, indeed. Okay, here we go. This is based on Don Morrow's checklist, and if you would, Kathleen, I have two of them. If you're not familiar with this is a little treasure trove that Don Morrow has done. And if you would just kind of pass it around and then let it get back to the back. So at the end, what he has done is taken 304 of the 352 species that have been seen at the refuge, and he has put them into a very interesting way to look for them. So that's what we're doing. Don Morrow retired from a long career in land conservation with the Trust for Public Land. And now he birds at St. Mark's. In addition to, he conducts shorebird surveys and seasonal duck surveys in the refuge. He leads visitors on birding tours into the backcountry levees. And these tram tours, have any of you been on the tram tours? Ah, yes, you know, you're familiar with our tram. They're going to start again October 1st. And so you want to write that down. And whenever it's time, go ahead and sign up for another tram tour. Don is going to lead one, and then Matt and Cindy Johnstone is going to lead the other one. They're set up on now to be about every 2 weeks. So I think they're going to be bi-monthly tours, and that'll be fun to get back onto the backcountry. His checklist is, like I said, 304 of the 354 species that are on the refuge. And the way that he has done it on the checklist is, I looked at the parts that were yellow, and those are migrating birds. They might be on the refuge anyway, but these are specifically migrating, and they're listed for September, October, and November for the birds that you'll see. Some of them have smaller numbers. If you've been down to the refuge, you'll see that we have more great egrets and more snowy egrets than you can count. Today I had 19 roseate spoonbills, and we've had as many as 30 or 40. So it's been really, really fun. But I organized my presentation based on the photographs that I've taken in September, October, and November. So first, we have waterfowl, and those of you that are looking at the checklist, you'll see that there are different sections. And so the first section of the list is waterfowl. Got ducks. We had ducks that were like this in 2020, and it was just amazing. You can't see the date on there, but anyway, there it is. And there, I can't get this off the screen, can I? Because my titles are underneath here. I'll tell you what they are. We have blue-winged teal, and that single redhead was kind of like all by itself. Can you read that? Oh, yay. Okay. Oh, we'll put that up at the top.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better. You can read it. Oh, yay. Okay. And now you can read it. You read that too. So we have blue-winged teal with redhead. And where are we going? Now it's not going. It won't advance now. We having fun yet? No. I'll do it with I'll do it with I was doing it here.
I think it works there.
Well, good luck. Okay, let's check it out. Redhead and northern shoveler. We have male and female. Now it's working. Canvasback, bufflehead, hooded merganser, red-breasted merganser, American widgeon, green-winged teal, snow goose, and gadwall. And then we go into, now that's doing that. These are breeds. So I'll just keep going. High-billed grebe, horned grebe. And I'm trying to get it through. It's been, technology has taken the time, but I can try to go slower. Now my other titles are at the top. Oh, well. High-billed grebe, horned grebe. Cuckoos. Anybody want to guess what that one's going to be? How about a groove-billed Ani? 2014 groove-billed Ani. That was just really, really cool. Now we have, something with coots and cranes. Here we go. We have clapper rail, Sora, and this Sora, the other day on the left side, that was at headquarters pond. I saw that little thing running around there and said, I know, I'm gonna take your picture. So I did. This is a common gallinule and a purple gallinule. This is the only frame image that I have that has both of them together. And some of what I do is I try to do something that's educational that I can pass off and say, look at this part. And a lot of time people don't know about purple gallinule and common gallinule, AKA used to be moorhen, but now it's common. And so we have that. We have American coot. And with the American coot, if you look on the right side, that's what they look like when they see a bald eagle. Trust me with that one. We have shorebirds now. So we have black-necked still, American avocet. Those three avocet were there a week ago. Black-bellied plover. That one was there a week ago too. The willet and the marble godwit. The marble godwit was there also a week ago. Wilson snipe, spotted sandpiper, and this is greater and lesser yellowlegs. And it's the only frame that I've ever had that has both of them together. When you see yellowlegs, you say, which one it is? I don't know, I can't tell because you don't know how big they are. Well, here's how big they are compared to each other. Now we have gulls and terns. So I can read this one, yay. So with gulls and terns, we have Forster's tern, and they were nuts out there today. I had like 12 or 15 that were running around together, and they were having a good time. And there are plenty of black terns there now too. Also black tern. Black skimmers, you see them in several ways. Most of the time you see them skimming by themselves. Sometimes they'll do 2 or 3, but then if you look at the lighthouse to the east side, you'll see just a real kind of like a carpet of black. And then if you wait long enough, they'll fill the sky because something will spook them and off they go. So we have several black skimmers there now. Now we have pelicans and their allies, double-crested cormorant and hinga and American white pelican. Sometimes you see the pelicans, they fill the sky like this. Sometimes you see them in formation, and sometimes you see them up close and personal. And it's really, really fun when the pelicans are out there like that. No, there was one the other day. I got one pelican the other day, but it was kind of all by himself. So they're probably on their way. Herons, egrets, and their allies. We have the great blue heron, and it's always fun when they go fishing. The little blue heron, and if you would look at the, I don't know if this pointer will work. No, it doesn't work at all. Let's see. I'm not being really dramatic. The little blue heron is the adult is on the left side. The very young one is in the middle. And then I call it the teenager is on the right side. So, I can do it with the mouse. Okay, there's that. Oh, yeah, here we go. No, never mind the pointer. Okay, I got the mouse. See the mouse? Okay. So we have the adult, we have the youngest one, and we have the teenager. And those all three were there last week. Sometimes you kind of see lots of them together. There's glossy ibis in here that are these as well. So you see plenty of ibis. You see the glossies, the white ibis, the snowy egrets, and the little blue heron. Sometimes little blue herons are kind of tricky, and I'll show you why later on. Here we have white ibis with one roseate spoonbill who could care less. So I don't know why he wasn't looking, but all the rest of them were looking for something. These roseate spoonbills have been absolutely stunning. It's been a big deal to have visitors down there, and they will just be mesmerized with the spoonies. So we have this one I put in on purpose. Now I know the young birders information is going to be done by Jen Anderson. She's the curator for St. Augustine Alligator Farm. And she's one of the people that I try to contact whenever I have questions about those, because I've helped them some with their banding. I photographed some of their banding of the spoonbills. So she's a spoonbill expert. And when I got this image, I said, wait a minute, there's a black eye here and there's a red eye here. And I don't know if you've ever noticed that with spoonies, been up close enough to see them. And I knew from seeing the real young chicks at the alligator farm that the black eye is on the real young chicks. So this bird is probably this year's hatch. This bird is a little older and it would be the second year. And then this bird is the one that's the adult. And at St. Mark's, I have seen one adult in all of the spoonies that have been there. And so I can pick that bird out. So if you go down and you look for the spoonies, look for the adult, and you'll see that the colors of all the others are not going to be that same color. So it's really interesting to watch them and to pay attention to that. You can tell here, here's all of these that are young birds, and then you get over to here and there's the adult. So you can see the difference there. So here we had tricolored heron, we had the spoonies, the roseate spoonbill. Right here, we're having fun with a reddish egret. We've got 2 or 3 reddish egrets that are so fun. They dance around and occasionally get a little minnow. It's really fun to watch them. And we have snowy egrets, and then the great egrets, you can't, well, probably there were great egrets back there. They're a big yellow bill, but that was covered up. We have green heron and we have yellow crown, or this is black crown night heron. No, this one's a yellow crown. It has a longer neck. It just doesn't have its neck out for us. But this is the yellow crown night heron that doesn't look anything like the adult. And you'll see it now. And this one was the black crown night heron is the adult. And this is the juvenile. And they are there now because someone told me that they saw an adult just this week. So look for night herons, and to find those, there's a big snag tree just before headquarters pond, and you'll see night herons that'll be hanging out there. This is what it's been looking like. It is absolutely gorgeous. Here we have white ibis, the spoonies, the roseate spoonbills, tricolored heron, great egrets, and snowy egrets, all together, all over the place. And they would just be filling Lighthouse Pool. So if you get down there, head for Lighthouse Pool, because there's probably some really good stuff there. Now, I put these in because of the tricolored heron. Tricolored heron, people realize they think that it's this one, but it's really a little blue. And so here's a little blue compared to a tricolored heron. Here is a snowy egret compared to a tricolored heron. That one is pretty easy. And people wonder about the snowy egret, and I always say, make sure they have the golden slippers. So if you're seeing those, they have to have their golden slippers. Then the tricolored heron and the reddish egret, I mean, look how similar they look. So that is easy for you to be confused about, and it's really fun to watch those. But as soon as that reddish starts dancing, then you'll know it's a reddish. We have the American bittern and the least bittern. The least bittern is obviously a different bird, and it's really small too. But they are very secretive. These are both, this was at Headquarters Pond, and this one is a tricky one. If you go to East River Pool and you see the little pier that they use for fishing, don't go straight to the pier. Look straight down as soon as you get onto there, because there's a little canal area, and that's where these guys sometimes hang out. Vultures, hawks, and allies. We have northern harrier and we have bald eagle. The harrier had been on the snag and the eagle wanted it, and the ducks decided they didn't want any part of any of the rest of this. So that's why they're taken off. But the bald eagle is interesting there. I saw both of the pair that's at the end Lighthouse Road today, and there was an immature there, so I saw 3 eagles today. But sometimes they want a little lunch, so they take the fish. This one is one of the juveniles, but can you tell what's on its back? It's what? It looks like it. It's a tracker named a red-winged blackbird that took a ride. Now, I saw the blackbird come up to it, and sure enough, it took a ride. So that's a red-winged blackbird on one of the young eagles. This is obviously an older eagle. It's starting to get part of its feathers. So yeah, so anytime you see those, check for the blackbirds. They were really aggressive, and he did not like this eagle. And no kidding, he hitchhiked. The northern carrier, you'll see lots and lots of females. You don't see the gray ghost very often at all. And this is the male that is just absolutely stunning. But once you see that, you say, I saw the gray ghost, and I was so excited. Osprey, I really enjoy whenever they give me the little look on their eye where they look like they're looking right through you. But then all of a sudden they'll hit the water and take some lunch with them. So this one, that was last week also. A Cooper's hawk and a red-shouldered hawk. Can you tell what the red-shouldered hawk has in its claw? Yes, it's a glass snake. It's a glass lizard. And so he was ready to chow down. Now we're on kingfishers. And kingfishers are kind of interesting because the girl is the pretty one. We have the belted kingfisher male and the female, and the female always has the red breast on her. Woodpeckers. The only one that I listed here was the yellow-bellied sapsucker because that's the one that was part of the yellow part in Don's checklist. So we have the yellow-bellied sapsucker. Now we're looking at falcons, and he listed 3, and I have all 3. We have the American kestrel, we have the merlin, and we have the peregrine falcon. And those are generally found where the snag forest is before headquarters time. Flycatchers. How many of you have seen our little male from, he's not there anymore. This year we had a female. And so the male did not make it back, but there was a female that was in not too far away. So we have the male and female vermilion flycatcher. Notice it's 1 L. It has to do with the color red, not millions of flycatchers. Or we see them in flight, and you can see the difference in color there. So if you look at this bird, you think, really? That's a flycatcher? Yes, that's the female vermilion flycatcher. Gray kingbird, scissortail flycatcher. I've seen this one time, and it was just north of East River Pool. Eastern phoebe, western kingbird, and the kingbird was quite a show in Cedar Point Trail at the end of Cedar Point Trail last year. We have martins and swallows. Anybody for tree swallows? You want to count those for eBird? That was really fun to watch those. We have kinglets and gnatcatchers, the ruby crowned kinglet, and I've got, there is the crown. How about that? And the blue-gray gnatcatcher. I believe people are doing blue-gray gnatcatchers now too. Thrushes. This is a wood thrush and the robin. And now we're looking at thrashers. This is a gray catbird and a brown thrasher. And this guy was taking a dirt bath, so that's why he's all fluffed up. Sparrows. This is the swamp sparrow, and look how different it looks in the different light. You wouldn't even imagine it's the same bird for me anyway, but I'm sure that everybody else could see exactly what it is. But we're looking at the swamp sparrow here. The eastern towhee, that one I could figure out. Then chats. How about a yellow-breasted chat? And I was really happy to see this one. That was at headquarters where you can pull in. Headquarters pond is here, and then there's all sorts of brush on the other side. Well, it was on the other side, and just happened to be in a place where I could take its picture. So I was glad I got that one. Blackbirds as their allies. Yellow-headed blackbird. Somebody saw a yellow-headed blackbird. Did you see it? Did you photograph it? I looked down for it today. I did not see it, so you sent it away. This was a yellow-headed blackbird, not this week, but it's in there. Brown-headed cowbird, that's an immature. Orchard oriole and red-winged blackbird, but you've also seen the red-winged blackbird that hitched a ride on the bald eagle. Warblers, oh boy, here we go. Blackpoll warbler, black and white warbler, and I needed some help with this one because this one has a black cap on it and this one doesn't. So they're just really cute to figure out, but they all have stripes. Cape May warbler, northern parula, prothonotary warbler, yellow rump warbler, prairie warbler, and palm warbler. And that's only a little bit of them because there are lots and lots more. We are so fortunate to have a place where they come through like this. New World finches, the rose-breasted grosbeak, and the indigo bunting. This would be a young one, obviously. Then we have the painted bunting male and painted bunting female that don't look like each other either. But they are gorgeous birds. And then other species that have been recorded here. Can you imagine what that is? In Don's thing, there's a whole page. Which one is this going to be? Bingo! Pinky, the American flamingo. And these images I have taken every year. So we have 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, and we're still at it with 2022. Because Pinky has been in Lighthouse Pool the last 3 or 4 days. So that has been really fun to see. Is Pinky home? Is Pinky coming back? We don't know. He doesn't give us our schedule, or she doesn't, or it doesn't. But we look for Pinky in either way. It's really exciting. And this is a really special bird because it came in with Hurricane Michael and has stayed and made it home, which is pretty amazing. Now, that's the end of my pictures. I have some information about Merlin Bird ID. Do any of you work with eBird or Merlin or any of those? Are you good? The cool part for me is I looked at the Cornell products. One login gets you to all this other stuff. So once you sign up and you're in, then you use your login and there you go. So we have the Merlin Bird ID that can be quite consistent. And it now includes sound. eBird, I've been really trying to do an eBird list, especially if the American flamingo is there whenever I see Pinky, because that will come through on a national rarities list. And so it's really kind of cool, but I want to keep St. Mark's on the front burner regarding that. Birdcast is the migration maps, and Birds of the World is a resource, a scholarly resource that has a subscription to it, an annual subscription that is not expensive, but it is a paid thing, along with their Bird Academy that they have online classes. Those of you who might think that the visitor center has been closed like it has been for the last 2.5 years, the visitor center is now open again. The nature store is open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's a sign out about that, and the nature store online is available during the week. So you can still be able to get contact there and go ahead and shop for anything you need. We have then St. Mark's. There's the website for St. Mark's as well as the phone number. And I hope that you will come down and visit us, because I'll probably see you somewhere down there, since I've been spending a lot of time there enjoying it. Are there questions, Kathleen? How do we do this now? It's Julie's turn. We can, I'll come back to you. How's that? Okay, because I want Julie to have her time, and that's not fair to, we'll do questions later on. Right. We'll do questions later on. Okay. Okay, I can show you what you have to do.
All right.
You can use this,
Yourself and.
you can read this, and there you go.
Okay, so is this running? So.
Yeah, you can read from here. Because it kept covering it up there.
Yeah, it doesn't show, it's fine for the Zoom people, it's just in here that thing gets. in the
Gotcha,
way,
that's what I was
so
wondering. Okay.
I would like to find out if we can minimize that somehow.
Oh, it's fine. It's okay, not a problem.
No, but
I-
for people that, it's just. Well, it's just, I don't
No,
like
the,
that.
so the
hard.
clicker is not working. Okay, and
So-
so am I using this,
That.
this one? Okay.
I think we're using audio on this, right? Audio.
Yep, audio through there.
Okay,
We were.
That's why it shows Danny Davis is talking.
Yep.
Okay, so you're good. So you'll just
Okay.
use the arrow key.
so if I move from out here, they can't hear me?
Oh, no, if, as long as you're here, they're hearing through the
I meant like
microphone.
if I stood out there.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Because
that's okay.
Yeah, for the computer.
Okay.
I'm not sure how far.
All right, I'm good, thanks. All right. Hi, everyone. I am Julie deGrummond, for those of you that do not know me. And today I am going to talk to y'all about migration in Leon County specifically. And at any time, if anyone has any questions, certainly feel free to just raise your hand, let me know, and we'll go ahead and answer your question right on the spot. Yep, no problem. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get moving because I think we're on a time crunch here. So, Danny. Okay.
You should be good.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, it's fall migration. The first step to finding the birds is figuring out what kind of birds are we looking for. So I asked a lot of my friends, I said, hey, fall migration, what does that mean to you? And there was one answer that stood out above the rest. Oh, okay. And there it is. Warblers. That was the answer that I got more than any other. This is a yellow-rumped warbler. This picture was taken by my friend Eliza Hawkins, and she actually provided most of the photography for this presentation. This picture was taken at McCord Park, which for those that do not know, it's in Benton Hills. And anyone who's interested in going there, it's it's on Armistead Road. So you just turn in on Armistead Road and you'll see the parking lot there. It's a nice little park. It has a pond and sidewalks and lots of great trees and habitat. So when we're looking for warblers, for me, there is one rule that stands above the rest. And that is for warblers in fall, go where chickadees call. Okay, Danny, I'm having some problems here. So in fall, warblers tend to join in mixed flocks. And one of the best ways to find those mixed flocks is to listen for the chickadees. And in a typical mixed flock, you will find chickadees and tufted titmice, and black and white warblers are very common in a mixed flock, downy woodpeckers, and any variety of warblers. So I start by listening for the chickadees, locate the chickadees, and then it's time for rule number 2. And that is WTF, work the flock. So I tend to bird with other people, but this also applies when you're by yourself. You find the mixed flock, you want to isolate each bird and just kind of work your way through it, and you're sure to find some surprises. So thinking about warblers, what kind of landscape features are we going to be looking for? For me, first and foremost, water features. You know, everybody needs water to survive. So lakes, ponds, streams. You want to look for some wooded areas. Old growth trees are great. I love like a big old oak that has resurrection ferns and Spanish moss. That's you know, birds really love those. Lots of insects and food sources, which you'll see food sources also on the list there. Also brushy areas, you know, things down low. Some warblers you're going to find up high in the canopy or in the mid-story, and some are going to be down in the brushy areas. Also changes in habitat. So birds love forest edges. Anywhere where you go from particularly like an open field to a forested area or wooded area, along power lines. Those are great areas to look for your flock. And food sources also, plants with berries, you know, anything where you might find a lot of insects, which, you know, again, that comes back to the water features, wooded areas. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some specific areas in Leon County that are great for birding. I'm going to really focus on primarily 2 areas. Eleanor Clapp Phipps Park, which is a pretty big park. It's like 670 acres. And talking to various people, I've had quite a few people say to me that they felt like Phipps was maybe a little daunting and they weren't really sure where to go. So I'm going to kind of break that down and give you just a little overview of that. So Eleanor Clapp Phipps is out Meridian Road. So if you go out Meridian heading north, you will see once you pass McClay School on your left, there is Meridian Youth Sports Complex. There's a big sign out there on Meridian Road with an arrow pointing to the complex. Those of you who are parents or grandparents may have been here for soccer games or baseball games. It has a one-way entrance, and you turn in on that one-way entrance. And as you go down, not even halfway on your left, you're going to see signs for Redbug Trail, and you can park right there. That's a great area for just popping right into the woods. And there's a nice stream area. There's a park bench along the way, a bridge where you can stand and look down the stream. In recent times, it's been a really great place for finding northern water thrush. And of course, there's lots of trees, and so you can pretty much find anything there if you're looking. Next, if you go on down Meridian Road to Miller's Landing Road, that's where the other entrances are going to be. The first one is right past the big soccer complex. When you turn on Miller's Landing Road on your left, you'll see yellow gates for the soccer complex. Go just past there. And on your left, there's a little corral parking area. This is a great area to start if you're not familiar with Phipps. There's an entrance to multiple trails right there. And you can even walk alongside the soccer field. That's a great area. The soccer field has birds. Again, it's an edge habitat change. So you've got wooded area and open field. So there tend to be a lot of birds there. It's a great place for blue grosbeak. So if you continue on down Miller's Landing Road, you'll come to parking lot A. Parking lot A is a pretty large parking lot, and this is a great place to go for warblers. Actually, I went there this morning before work and had multiple Blackburnian warblers up in the trees just right off the parking lot. Right there next to the parking lot, there's a big field that is maintained for wildflowers, and it's allowed to grow. There's tall grasses, and they mow around it and straight through the middle of it. So that enables you to have access to that grassy area pretty well. And there also are power lines, which, for example, this morning there was an eastern wood pewee up on the power line, and there's usually eastern bluebirds there and other stuff. Parking lot A is good because there's a picnic table there. There's a number of benches. There's even a portalette if you care about that. It's also just kind of in the center of the park. With any of Phipps, my best recommendation, if you're not familiar with it, is just pick one of the areas and kind of get to know that one area. If you go on down the road to parking lot B, again, off of Miller's Landing Road, that's just a little pull off where you just pull right up. And if you walk out, there's a little bit of an entrance and you turn right. When you turn right, that trail goes all the way down to Lake Jackson. So there's a big open field. There's a wooden overlook. Some of you may remember for a while we had fulvous whistling ducks, and you could sit in that wooden lookout and see them every time they took flight out on the lake. So yes. There are a lot of owls in that area. It's actually one of my favorite places to go owling. Me and my friend Anthony Lee there have spent quite a bit of time out there at night. We had eastern whippoorwills out there, and pretty much all the owls, you know, screech owl, barred owl, and great horned owl. At one point, we actually thought we heard a barn owl, but we never did locate that particular bird. However, one was seen sometime after that over at Falk Landing. So all of the trails are kind of interconnected, and even though like Redbug Trail is pretty far from, say, Gate B, you can actually go from one to the other. They're all interconnected. It's, you know, it's a nice big park with a lot of the different habitat features that I mentioned. So I highly recommend it. All right, and these are some birds that have been photographed out at Phipps. This is a Tennessee warbler. And again, these photos are taken by my friend Eliza Hawkins. She is a fabulous birder and a wonderful photographer. And here we have a magnolia warbler. You'll notice the half black tail. That's one of the markers for that bird. And here we have a Blackburnian warbler, which I just mentioned earlier this morning. We saw quite a few of these in the trees just off the parking lot of parking lot A. Here we have a Swainson's thrush, which these will be arriving very soon, shortly. I think some are starting to show up already. Then we have a veery. We saw about 8 of these this morning, so they really have arrived in force. And okay, computer. Next, I'm going to talk about Lake Jackson. So Lake Jackson is right next to Phipps, and it's something like 6.2 square miles. It is many of y'all probably know it has a sinkhole, Porter sinkhole, that does cause the lake to drain periodically. And when it does, it's pretty fantastic. It's like a little canyon and you can really walk way out on the lake. Right now, that is not the case. It's nice and full. I'm gonna go over just the different landings at Lake Jackson and talk about them just a little bit. So we're gonna start with Miller's Landing, which we're already on Miller's Landing Road at Phipps. We're just gonna drive on down that road all the way to the end. And those of you who do eBird probably have seen my friend Michael Dayton found a American woodcock there. And many of us spent lots of early mornings sitting in the dark at that landing, waiting for that bird to pop up out of the reeds next to the lake and fly over and away, quickly there and gone. And actually Michael was the only one who had the bird land in front of him, and he managed to get some pictures of it, I think with his cell phone, if I'm correct. So Miller's Landing is a nice little landing. It's you just park and you're right there on the lake. It gives a good view if you're just wanting to look out on the lake and see what is there. There's also some, nice tree growth. It's not far from Phipps, and it's next to a lot of private property that is pretty treed. So lots of great stuff to see there. You have a good view of the sky. It's great for watching sunsets as well. Next, we're going to go to Roden Cove, which is down Meridian. You're going to head south from Miller's Landing Road and take a right on Roden Cove Road and follow it all the way down to the end. This landing recently got a nice gate that keeps people out from driving on the lake. So that's fantastic. There's a good parking area there. In front of the parking area is a nice open field. There's picnic tables. It's a great place to sit and have some lunch or a snack and just look to see what shows up, what's in the trees surrounding. And then you can walk past where the yellow gate is and out into the lake area. And in that area, I haven't been there in a while, but last time I was there, there was an area where you could kind of go to the right and see out on the lake, and then you could go to the left, and there were a lot of tall grasses and reeds, and you could see little pockets of water here and there. So it's really great for sparrows once they get here. And of course, it's just all around good habitat anyway. You certainly can go there and see osprey, bald eagle, lots of red-winged blackbirds and boat-tail grackles as well. Next, we're going to go to McGinnis Arm Canoe Trail. And this is a place I don't think a lot of people go. And I actually really like this little landing. It's tiny. You go down McGinnis Arm Road, which is off of Lakeshore. And there is a tiny little parking lot and a rickety little picnic table. And there are a lot of good trees and old growth around there. There's a little area where you could put a canoe in, and you can basically just see down where that canoe would go into the lake. And to the right of that, there's a little area where you can walk into the woods and you're down under the canopy. So that part is really nice. I've seen things like scarlet tanagers. I saw my first veery of the season there. Blue-wing warbler, lots of good little flocks of birds moving through there. There's a lot of bugs and water and the things that birds want. Next is Crowder Road Landing, and that is on Crowder Road, which is off of Monroe. So you want to go out North Monroe to Crowder Road, take a right, This landing is currently closed. It is under some form of construction. I'm not sure what is going on there, but they have a big fence and you cannot get in. It's been closed for a while. This actually used to be the #1 birding hotspot in Leon County. It has been overtaken by Falk Landing, which is now the #1 birding hotspot in Leon County, and I think by a significant amount. I haven't checked the numbers recently, but it surpassed Crowder Road and kept on going. Crowder Road is right next to the Indian Mounds, which is also another great little birding area. You do need a state park pass to get in or to pay a fee to use the park, but that's a nice little area, has big open field, lots of wet areas and a stream, and also good trails for walking on. Next is Falk Landing, and I'm actually going to circle back to that one at the end. I'm going to move on past Falk Landing to Jackson View Landing, which is the landing we usually call US 27. It is just right off Monroe. You can just pull right in. There's a parking lot. There's an actual usable boat ramp there. I think if people are putting boats in, that's typically where they're going to be putting in. There is a nice little boardwalk area where you can look out on the lake, and again, picnic tables and a bathroom as well. So that's a good feature. From that landing, you can head on out Monroe and take a right onto Old Bainbridge Road and then take your first right. And this will take you to Sunset Landing, which is next to, I want to say it's Shuckers or Oyster Bar. I'm not really positive about that, but there is an oyster bar there, and you just drive kind of through their parking lot and past them, and then you're right there at the landing. This is actually a great place to look for ducks. You have a good overview, and the ducks seem to want to congregate there. There's also some trees and treed area. It's not super great for walking, but you can walk right down to the water. And again, really good for looking out on the lake. And then I'm going to circle back to Falk Landing, which is off of North Monroe and Falk Drive. So Falk Landing, as I mentioned, is the #1 birding hotspot in Leon County. I think that is the product of Patagonia picnic table effect. Probably, I don't know, 2 years ago or so, when the lake drained, Jeff O'Connell found a Pacific golden plover there. And I can't remember if that was the first big bird found there, but there have been a steady stream of rarities. And every time something pops up, everyone rushes there to see it, and they find something else. The Bell's Vireo, some of y'all may remember that. The Bell's Vireo was there for quite a while. It overwintered with us. I think my friend Eliza Hawkins is the one that found that bird, and she took a lot of great photos of it. So Falk Landing it's not only the #1 birding hotspot, but it's actually really my happy place. I just love that place. It's just great. There is a small parking area, so limited parking, and then just walking down to the lake along the edges is a great place to find all kinds of birds. There's a ditch, and in that ditch, there's water and reeds and trees on the edges of it. And that is where that Bell's Vireo hung out for most of the time that it was there. And currently there are quite a few northern water thrush there. They're pretty easy to see. Also, probably some of y'all have seen on eBird in the past week, there's been a Canada warbler out there, which that's a pretty fantastic find. Once you go down the entrance, if you keep going straight, you'll go right to the lake. right now, that's really about all you can do as far as the lake. It's very wet and the lake is very high. So I definitely recommend wearing some boots and, if you are game for walking through reeds and sloshing through stuff, there are some ways you can do that and walk along the edges of the lake. Currently, what most of us do is check out the lake and then take the trails that are to the right. And again, they are wet and sloshy, but there's a lot of great birds to be found out there. And I don't know how we're doing on time. I'm going to go ahead and move on with this. So here are some birds that have been found out at Falk Landing. Again, this is a prairie warbler. This photo is by Eliza Hawkins. And okay, next we've got a yellow throat warbler. And again, that was Eliza Hawkins. Okay, and here we have a northern water thrush. And this photo was taken by Michael Dayton. And these guys are kind of hard to photograph. So that's a good one. Here we have an alder flycatcher. This picture was not from this year, but currently there is an alder flycatcher out there. In fact, there have been so many flycatchers out there, it's a little bit confusing. There have been a least flycatcher, the alder flycatcher, and various unidentified flycatchers. Next, we have a dickcissel. This is a sparrow. And actually, one of these was seen out at Falk Landing last week. So here we have a grasshopper sparrow. And that is a pretty little bird. And these guys should be showing up in the near future. So there's a pretty good option of seeing those out at Falk Landing. All right, next we have, this is a Wilson's phalarope. And this picture was taken when the lake was drained. You can see all the grass and it was, just kind of a mud flat area. The majority of the lake really was a mud flat. It was pretty fantastic. And here is a piping plover. This is actually the only photograph in this presentation that I took myself. And as you can see, it's really dark. I took this picture August 12th of 2021, which happens to be the day before my birthday. So this is my birthday bird. I got off of work and was just trying to squeeze in a little time at my happy place. And this bird, I'm not sure of the exact statistics, but there may have been one or two that had been reported in Leon County before this, but not much more than that. And this little bird had another one that joined him and they hung out for a while and I really enjoyed watching them. All right, and here we have some ducks. These are northern pintail, and the one that is, let's see, I'm going to follow Karen's lead and use the mouse. This one right here is actually a northern shovelet. And ducks should be, well, I hear that they're already arriving. I know we've got some blue-winged teal, but we'll be getting more in short order. And then I wanted to mention birdcast, which I know Karen already hit on. This actually is from last night at 11:20 p.m. or so. It shows how many birds have already passed over into Leon County and how many are currently in flight. And lately the numbers have been pretty nice and high. It gives really great information. If you're thinking about going out to look for some migrants, birdcast gives you an idea of, is it a great day? Is it a moderate day? Maybe not a good day. It also has a list of what the expected migrants would be and just really good information for anyone who's wanting to go out and look for migrants. And in closing, I just wanted to say that your own backyard is also a great place for seeing migrants. And so I just want to encourage each of you to, do your part for the birds and provide them with fresh food and water while they're migrating. That always helps. It's a tough work migrating. So anywhere they can stop in and fuel up, it helps them, and it also puts them right there where you can see them pretty easily. Another thing you can do is allow a little bit of leaf litter to accumulate in your yard. That helps, even when we don't have migrants, they love to, you'll see the brown thrashers throwing leaves, and who doesn't love that? But just giving them some areas where they can come and forage. I want to encourage everyone to grow native plants. That's another thing that really helps keep the birds in your yard. It provides them with, the insects that feed on native plants, and it's just all around a great idea. Another thing I will mention is to turn your lights off at night when birds are migrating. That really does help them. It can disorient them when there's too much light, which I'm sure y'all have all heard some things about that. And avoid pesticides. I personally don't use any, but I know not everyone is okay with that, and I get it. But anywhere, if you don't need to use them, just encourage you to leave those out, and go out, enjoy the migration, find some birds. And I do also want to just make a point of, again, thanking Eliza Hawkins for her fantastic photos. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, they do. They do use radar, and you can narrow it down to any area that you want to check. I always put mine on Leon County and look at that, but you could put it on Florida or any area that you're interested in. It'll give you some good statistics. Yes. It is part of Cornell, but I think it is, I believe it is Birdcast. Yeah. Honestly, if you just search Birdcast, it will come right up. But yeah, it's a great website. Any other questions? Okay. Pinky, whether Pinky is the same bird, I think we feel pretty good that Pinky is the same bird. I will add a little story about Pinky since you mentioned it. Let's see, I want to say it was in August of last year, but I'd have to look that up. My friend Anthony Lee and I and my husband Jimmy Stevens went to Mashes Sands, and while we were out there, we saw a big flock of terns, and there was a huge pink bird in the middle of that flock. It was clearly a flamingo, and we saw it land way out. So we went and we drove through some pretty crazy area and got to where we had a view and we could find the bird sitting on a little island. I actually sent Karen Wills a message and said, I am looking at a flamingo, where is Pinky? And at that time, actually, I believe that we deducted that bird was Pinky. However, after going to Mashes Sands, we decided to go on over to Bald Point. So we crossed over the bridge, went to Bald Point, where Anthony was kind of messing around with this lady and said, oh, did you see the flamingo? And I said, oh, stop that. That's not nice, And so then we walked down to the beach, and lo and behold, there was a flamingo right there on the beach. And it was clearly a different bird. There were some people fishing. We talked to them, and they had taken cell phone pictures of that same bird an hour earlier. So 2 flamingos in the same day, pretty close to one another. Pinky was not at St. Mark's that day, so, you know, he returned shortly after. I assume he went cruising, hanging out with his turn friends, and came back when he was ready. Yes. Okay, so he was disoriented by Hurricane Michael, and you're wondering why it is that he doesn't leave. He has actually left for some periods of time, and honestly, Karen would be a better person to really answer that question, but you can come on. Okay, so what I will say is, hey, have you been to St. Mark's? Who wouldn't want to stay there, right? I mean, it's awesome habitat. He's got all kinds of food. He's got choices of places to hang out, and he likes a lot of those places. So, you know, why do birds do what they do? I don't know that we know the answer to all that. All right. You wanna?
Well, one of the issues with Pinky is the color. The color on this bird is absolutely stunning. It doesn't matter what light it's in. And whenever we had seen the other birds, they don't have anything like the color that this bird has. So it's obviously getting plenty of good food. I had done a little bit of research. Everybody is saying, is Pinky a girl or a boy, and where's its friends and all that kind of stuff. Well, we don't know, except we think that it came with Hurricane Michael because that's when it was seen first. But I had done a little bit of research, and they actually tracked a bird on the West Coast, and they named it Conky. This was one that didn't leave when it was supposed to, and they were doing some sort of research. What they did was they could actually follow this bird, and they found that it stayed in the general area, but from pond to pond. That's exactly what this bird is doing. It's staying where it's finding food. It is in a place where if it's too deep, it goes to another pond, which is just what happened when it first came back and we were seeing it. It was in Stony Bayou 1. And way on the east side of Stony Bayou 1. And then pretty soon, it's now by the road. It left Stony Bayou 1, and guess where it is? It's a lighthouse pool. And people can take cell phone pictures of this bird. And it's pretty exciting to be able to do that. But it's going to move, and what it's evidently doing now is going to a little cove that's just to the east of St. Mark's at the lighthouse at high tide, and when it's at high tide, it's too deep for it, so it'll come back to Lighthouse Pool and then might take off as the tide goes out, and there's some tasty treats over there. So it's going to move around, but it didn't move around to where it's going far away, because as you saw from my photos, I have photographed it every single year from 2018, and those weren't made up.
No, they were not. All right, one last thing in closing. If any of y'all ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. October 16th, I will be leading a bird walk at Falk Landing, I think 7:45 a.m. and it is going to be limited to, I think 15 is what we decided. So if any of y'all are interested in that, please do sign up. And I think that's it. Thank you all so much. Oh, did you have a question? How do I know who has seen what birds? The way that I know that is because eBird, basically. I will say eBird, I actually would have thought that would be a great program to have. eBird is a website that is run by Cornell. It enables you to do a checklist when you go birding and save what birds you see. It has features that allows you to put photographs or vocal recordings on your eBird report. That information, it makes you a citizen scientist. That information is used, the data is used by Cornell University. And you can also access other people's information, even if their profile, for example, is set to private. You still can go and look and like just do a search on Leon County, for example, and see what birds have been seen in Leon County. There are rare bird alerts, which I actually get emails letting me know when things have been seen. And if you are a person who likes to list, I definitely recommend eBird. And I will just say that eBird changed my life. So, you know, without eBird, I would not be here today and I would not have the friends that I have. I certainly, it really does help you figure out where the birds are, where to go. If I was looking for, say, a least bittern, I would look and see where has a least bittern been seen in Leon County or Wakulla County or wherever I'm birding. Yep, it's free, it's fantastic. Take a look, you'll love it. All right. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much. Last minute, we pulled this together in the last minute. We didn't have a program getting things ready this summer, so I'm deeply grateful to both Karen and Julie for making this happen, making this a program. So thank you again. Coastal cleanup this Saturday, and also we'll have a field trip down at Ball Point State Park looking for migrants. Rob Williams will be leading that. So hope to see you out at one of both events this weekend. Oh, what was that here? Oh, there's one down here. Okay, they're looking for stuff. But anyway, thank you all very much and good night. Okay. Thank you.
I know, it's horrible.